Welcome to Milk Honey Rose. Okay, so I'm going to catch a visual and decode it. So let's see what Spirit shows us tonight. I always get a little excited in this moment, like right before I see a thing. But let me just go see. I see it looks like a barn and a light is coming from the barn. The doors are open. And it's a big field. It's huge. It could be 40 acres. But the only light I see is from that barn door being open. There's grass all around. And in the background, it's a shadow of trees lined up. It's a forest. And that's what I see. I did see like I want to say the shadow of a person, but that's just how it came to me. But it was just because I was standing from a distance. But there was a person standing there in front, like in the light, like standing there, just one person. And it looked like a male figure, a thin, slender person. The barn door is open. Does that have a significance to you? The barn door is open. The animals are out. I just heard the animals are out. Okay, tell me something else. The barn doors are open. The animals are out. The light is on. The truth is out. They wilding out. The time is now. The truth is out. Spiritual significance of a barn door open. Okay, it says an open barn door spiritually signifies divine opportunity, generosity, spiritual readiness, and an invitation to receive God's blessings, representing access to salvation, provision, and new paths, while also cautioning against spiritual compromise that leaves one vulnerable to worldly influences. It's a symbol of a wide open door for God's work in your life, connecting to themes of stewardship, ministry, and spiritual awakening found in Scripture and Christian tradition, moving from holding on to resources to using them for God's purpose. Key spiritual meanings: opportunity and access. An open door signifies a chance for divine intervention, growth, or entering God's kingdom, often linked to Scripture. Revelation 3, verse, wait, how I go? It's just 3, what is it? Was it verse 3, line 8? I forget how to say it, but where Jesus, that just caught me up real quick. Where Jesus represents an unclosable door for his followers. An unclosable door. The door cannot be closed. It's not supposed to be closed. It's meant to be open. So for those who subscribe, accept, appreciate, understand, respect Christ consciousness, the Godhead, your crown chakra being illuminated, the opportunity and access is always open to you as long as you accept the invitation. Okay. Generosity and stewardship. It can represent moving from hoarding, building bigger barns, to sharing God's resources, money, talents, influence with the world, an act of spiritual generosity. Spiritual vulnerability. Conversely, leaving a barn door open, like Solomon's compromise, can mean allowing negative influences or worldly desires to enter, leading to spiritual erosion and messiness. Yeah. That has a lot to do with what I've been discussing this week. I keep talking about and thinking about, and I keep getting this message streamed to me in different ways to let go of those who no longer serve a purpose in your life. It's just dead weight. Okay. That doesn't mean everybody. Okay. That don't mean cut everybody off. It's just those that you know don't mean you any well, or they're just not good. They don't have a good influence. Okay. The next one is divine provision. A barn itself symbolizes your storehouse of blessings, and its open door suggests God's provision is available and accessible, inviting you to partake. Okay. And the next one is ministry and revival. Escúchame. Ministry and revival. In revival stories, barns have been places where spiritual power was unleashed, making an open door a sign of a powerful, accessible spiritual experience and revival. The last one says transition and new beginnings. Doors are universal symbols of transitions, and an open one suggests moving into a new phase, a new world, which is this world seen differently, or a deeper relationship with the divine according to finding your soul. So there was just one person just standing there in the light, ready to either accept the invitation or not. And it feels like the reason why that, like a shadow person, it almost looked like a ghost. It was like, but I think it was from afar. But either way, the energy that I'm picking up from this image message is what I want to call it right now. Also, there were stars in the sky as well. I feel like I should mention that. There's a correlation here with the light that's on the stars in the sky. It's like the man in the image is in between worlds, because the only light is the light from the stars, but it wasn't many stars, but it was enough stars for me to see light within the sky. And then the light from the barn is the only light. So it made an L shape. Link, lost, less. I'm hearing less is more. That person wasn't holding anything. They were dressed casually. Okay. Still looking like a shadow though. Shadow in the light. When one seeks to understand their own shadow is when they find the light. When they recognize and understand the light. When they seek to recognize and understand their own shadow is when they find and recognize the light. So you can't ignore your shadow. Some people try to say, oh no, it's bad. You can't do that. But then they start doing crazy things in the darkness where they think nobody sees, but spirit sees. So it's really about embracing the darker aspects of yourself and understand them so that they can be incorporated into your life as well. Not to use them for bad, but to use them for the good attributes such as self-control, logic, being able to make decisions better, as well as knowing when it's time for you to say a thing, because you can't always be quiet. Sometimes you have to say what needs to be said, knowing when to speak and when not to. That comes from the left brain, I would say. It comes from, you need both your left and right brain for everything. However, the shadow is like the protector. Okay. Link. Great loss allows the recognition of the wins, I'm hearing. Okay, so those who have been through a lot and you've suffered through great loss in various ways, it's okay. It's a part of your growth. It's a part of how you've gotten to where you are right now. It's all necessary. It was all a part of the plan for you to get to where you are. Okay. It was all part of the plan. It all goes together. Okay? A bridge between the spiritual and the physical is what we are meant to be. Who we are meant to be is a bridge between the spiritual and the physical, because we are portals. It's not just the woman that's the portal. Men have access when they abide by the rule. What does that mean? The rule, God's rule. You ever see certain men? They're very perceptive and very intuitive. Not all men have tapped into that, but they've learned. Those who have learned how to utilize their feminine aspect of their personalities, and they've learned how to wield that energy. Because remember, we all have masculine and we all have feminine attributes to us. Is it on? Let me see. Did I press the button? Escúchame, I'm trying to see a thing. I don't know. For some reason, I'm not hearing the vibration like I usually do when I speak into it. So it almost feels like it's not on, but it's on. I don't know. It is on because the light's on. Don't mind me. I'm having a moment. Anyway, let me get back to the visual message. Okay. The more individuals that are tapped into themselves and they're able to be that bridge between the physical and the spiritual, the more guidance we will all have, because we share what we know. At least that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to share what we know. We're not meant to just not share it, because then it defeats the purpose of the collective consciousness and how we are able to assist each other on the journey. Okay. The best thing that we could do for one another is, which sounds crazy, however, the best thing we can do for one another is focus on ourselves. And that means a lot in various ways, because when you focus on yourself, you're not worried about nitpicking at other people and what they got going on. And also, when you focus on yourself, when you're ready to speak and you're ready to share, you then bring the gifts of the unseen to those who choose to listen, choose to hear you. You bear gifts. I heard it's not always bad news, but sometimes you need to know. That's the way love goes. I just heard that's the way love goes. Okay. There's something significant about that man being outside in that field alone in front of the barn, just standing there, looking like they were thinking or contemplating about something. Taking time to think right now and taking time to hone into self is beneficial, necessary, very necessary. Okay, this is something that is very necessary, because these moments help you to recognize what you're made for. If you pay too much attention to what everybody else is doing, you're going to miss what you're made for, because it's a distraction to pay so much attention to the others. I heard it is likely that for some of you is the reason why it took so long is because of the distractions, paying attention to the others. So if you could just take the time to pay more attention to you, you'll feel better, and your relationships will be better with those who you choose to have relationships with. And it doesn't matter the types of relationships. It could be platonic, or it could be I just paused. That was weird. It was like something was coming through to me and it made me stop. But it could be platonic, but it doesn't have to be, is what I was going to say. And now I'm here. Make sure you lean in towards the right ways. Like, you know what's right. You know. It's just that sometimes you may not do what you feel is right because you might second guess it, or maybe even believe it's too good to be true, I'm hearing. Accept it for what it is, whatever it is that you believe is the right thing to do, because it is right, because your spirit is telling you so. The more you lean into your intuition and into that feeling that's telling you yes, the more you go there, the better you'll be, because that's you trusting yourself, even when it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it feels uncomfortable because it's too many question marks, you know. Sometimes that happens in life where there's just question marks, and you still go. You may not know everything, which is, you know, it's impossible to know everything. And sometimes you're not meant to, because you'll miss the lessons. If you were to know everything, then you wouldn't be looking for understanding. You wouldn't be seeking it, because it's like, oh, I know it. I don't have anything to look for. So when you have that mindset of knowing it all, you don't get a chance to receive more. Even if it's there, for you, it's only there if you look at it. Whatever that is. It. Okay? Whatever. It could be anything. The expansion of the mind, of the mind. I didn't mean to say that. The expansion of the mind allows you to receive what others may refuse. So those who are more rigid and I guess I'm just going to say rigid. Those who are more rigid have trouble with expanding their mind. The more you expand your mind, the more that you can receive in order to evaluate and filter it to see what it means to you, whatever that is. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you? I was just talking to my daughter about this in an abstract way, not in the direct way, the way I said it. However, it was always important for me to make sure that she has her own understanding and that she has her own mind and that she's using it. That was always very important to me. And so what you don't use, you'll lose. I just heard. What you don't use, you'll lose. So the more that you exercise your mind in whatever that is, in whatever way that is, the better it'll be for you, because it's your brain is a muscle. So the more you work it and you solve problems, the stronger it will become. I heard enhanced cognition. It is the challenge that brings growth. As long as you remember that and the challenges come and you know that it's a challenge, does that make you want to move towards it, or does that make you want to falter? How do you feel when challenge comes? Is the question. How do you feel when challenge comes? Do you want to move towards it, or do you want to falter? Okay. It is in the challenge where you will find your reward. If the challenge was never there, you would never appreciate the reward, the gifts, the spiritual gifts, the righteous gifts, Not the gifts from the enemy. I'm not talking about those. No, not those. As far as you reach is as far as you'll get. So keep reaching. Okay, to the stars that I saw in the image. I think I should draw it. I like it. It's I heard solitude or lonely. Which one are you? That's what that image looked like to me. Solitude or lonely, which one are you? Because I could look at that image in both ways. It depends on the person though. And it's a big difference. Solitude and loneliness. Let's look it up. Solitude is more favorable. Okay, the state or situation of being alone. Okay. And then let's look up loneliness. Lonely. I am so lonely. I have no... Okay, sadness because one has no friends or company. Damn, son. You just gonna just say it like that? Sadness because one has no friends and no company. Oh my gosh. Okay, you see the difference between loneliness and solitude? In solitude, you like that. You appreciate it. You would like to have it as much as you can, but you don't want to overdo it. You want it to be just right. Okay? Solitude is, damn, I don't want to be by myself. I would like to have some company, but I don't, and I'm sad. Okay? So that's the difference between the two. So which one are you? Is the question. It says, what defines a lonely person? Some people describe loneliness as the feeling we have when our need for social contact and relationships isn't met. But loneliness isn't the same as being alone. You may feel right? My words are not coming out correctly. Please excuse me. You may feel content without much contact with other people. But others may find this a lonely experience. Some people may only feel lonely at certain times. For some reason, I want to read it again because I don't know. Some people describe loneliness as the feeling we have when we need. I'm doing it again. 1 minute. Some people describe loneliness as the feeling we have when our need for social contact and relationships isn't met. But loneliness isn't the same as being alone. You may feel content without much contact with other people, but others may find this a lonely experience. Some people may only feel lonely at certain times. It says, what is the true meaning of lonely? Lonely means feeling sad or unhappy due to a lack of desired companionship. A state distinct from simply being alone, solitude. It's an emotional distress from a perceived gap between your social needs and reality, affecting mental health and well-being, and can describe a person or a place that feels desolate. So it's good to be around people, and it's also good to be in solitude. And it's also good when you have a good balance between the two. Okay? But too much of being alone is not good. Too much of being around too many people is also not good. So too much of anything is not good for you. Okay? That's the energy that I'm picking up on here. What else? Anything else? Yeah, I'm going to draw that image. It's nice. I don't know what I'm going to use to make it light like that, though, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm thinking about it. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Is there something that you are going to do? You've already made up your mind. Do it. Because it's on your mind. You've been getting the spiritual inclination to go, so you should. Don't miss out on the thing, because there's a thing there for you. And if you don't do it, you're not going to see the thing. You're not going to recognize it. You're not going to be able to appreciate it because you didn't take the step forward. So you have to move forward. You have to do it. Okay? And you know you want to, so just go do it. You want to do it anyway. I'm not saying something that you are not saying already. You said it. I'm just reminding you. This is how it's coming to me. This is a reminder for you to do the thing that you said that you're going to do because you want to. Okay. Just a reminder. Okay. This time is meant for you to shine. That's why the person in this visual message is standing in the light. It's time for you to stand in the light now. It's time to come into the out now. If anybody knows what that line is from, drop it down in the comments below. Is it time to come into the out now? Yes, it's time to come into the out now. Okay, so that's it for this message. I hope you liked it as much as I did. I like these messages. I appreciate them and I'm thankful for them. I give gratitude every time. Gratitude. I'll see you in the next one.